I'm curious, like, how the first month has been. I know you've been all over, like, doing events, having a very exciting launch. I'm curious how it's been going and what the experience has been.
When you're usually getting interviewed, you're being interviewed about the content of the book. You're not being interviewed about your marketing strategy. But the only reason people are learning about the content of the book is because of your marketing strategy.
Yeah.
So it's really important to be thinking about these things. And I would love to open up anything that I've learned to anyone who's listening. So, a few things. I was quite diligent about the writing the book when it was time to write the book and marketing the book when it was time to market the book. I actually was driving to a party last night in the car with my fiance, and we were talking about the last year, 2025. What are you most proud of having done? She gave her answer, and then she asked me, what are you most proud of? And the easy answer is, well, I wrote my first book. But the real answer was that I focused on writing the best book that I could at that time. And I really did not let marketing creep into my mind during that process. And then when it was locked, when that final draft was locked, my mind shifted almost like a robot into, you are no longer a writer, you are a marketer selling a product. Your job now is to have this product reach as many people as possible. It's hard to do, man. I mean, the marketing creeps in. Marketing's fun. It's fun to think about getting on those podcasts and chumming it up and those one-liners you're going to say and how famous you're going to be and how many people are going to love you. And oh my God, you're going to get calls from all your favorite writers and it's just going to be riding the horse into the sunset. But as you're doing that, you're no longer in the muck of like, okay, I need to be as honest as possible. I need to make this story as good as possible and just stay insanely focused on the writing process. I mean, the amount of drafts that I went through, the amount of changes that I made to that book, it's like making you go cross-eyed. I was very militant about being in that zone when it was that time. And then when the gear shifted, I barely wrote for 4 months. It was weird for me to go from this state of having my mornings be taken up with 2 hours writing to 2 hours of sending emails to podcast hosts and influencers, DMing influencers. I created a huge Google Sheets list of everyone who might be interested in my book, from podcast hosts, influencers, book clubs, and would send them messages. And the message that I sent was, hey, I just wrote this book about how to interview your parents. Here's a quote from Rich Roll, who was nice enough to read an early draft of the book. He's a well-known podcaster. And it's like, this is a great book, da, da, da. And then I said, I'd love to send you a copy, no expectations or ask. Because if you are a podcast host with any audience, you're getting hit up all day, every day with requests like, hey, can I use you as a free advertising vehicle? And I sent a few of those emails, didn't get one response. If I can sum my marketing strategy up into one phrase, it's givers or getters. Look at your marketing strategy with your book as an offering, a willingness to be generous with the world. If you can afford it, send some copies out to people, write personalized notes. You wrote this thing, like the world should know about it. Like, be generous. Have your mindset be that marketing is an act of consideration and generosity. What I did was I would DM influencers, a DM podcast. Hey, I'd love to send you my book. Probably sent off 150 personalized signed books to different people. Many of them didn't respond. Go for it.
Just for a sense of volume, like how many outreaches probably did you do? Did I hear 50 copies?
150.
150. Okay.
I mailed 150 copies of my book, probably reached out to 300. I think 300 was my goal. Emails
Pretty
and good. DMs. People who do respond, like you're corresponding with them. It starts to take up your day, right? But you do it and mailed the book out. And then there were also people who I did know I had relationships with. And that's then like hey, I'm calling in a favor right now. You have a big Instagram following. My book comes out on November 18th. Will you please do a post about it? I had a number of friends who were podcasters where I could say like, hey, I'm not going to do this little dance with you where I send you a book and kind of hope you invite me on your podcast. Like, let me on your fucking podcast. Like, this is my first time to do this. So if you have those relationships, like just now is the time to call in all the favors, which I did. And I was able to get a number of friends who had, small to mid-sized podcasts to do interviews with me and got them to all say that they would release it the week of November 18th. In addition to that, one one area that I found a lot of value that I think most people overlook are local newspapers. We tend to think of like, oh, I'm going to go get on Tim Ferriss and Joe Rogan, and we try and go too big, and it becomes an unrealistic. The chances that those guys are going to have you on is pretty small considering how many people are trying to get on their shows. But local newspapers still reach a lot of people. And if you email one of those journalists, they might respond. And a number of local emails responded to me just because I was a guy from Santa Cruz. And they're, hey, this guy's out writing a book. That's super cool. And then those people, there were a lot of people that wrote book or that read books and came to my events because they saw it in the newspapers. But I think what I was able to do fairly well from being someone who I'm not super famous. I have a podcast that a few thousand people listen to every episode, Instagram followings. I have like 15,000 Instagram followers. It's not nothing, but it's also not legit fame where you can just say something and sell 100,000 copies. Like I had to work as well as I could to have it be coordinated and call in favors. But what ended up happening then was the week of the launch, there were probably a dozen podcasts and articles that all came out that week. And it made it feel like it was a bigger thing because you're like, oh, I saw this here. I saw that there, which is ultimately what you're trying to get with a book launch. You want it all to come out at the exact same time because what happens then is people might not buy your book then, but they'll know it exists. Like the goal of a launch is not actually to get people to buy the book right then. It's for everyone who's ever heard of you and more to know that you did that thing.
So many people over-index on the outcome of the launch and like the number of copies either pre-sold or sold in that first week. And if you think about your own behavior as a reader, how many times you buy a book the first time you hear about it?
No.
Almost never. You need like reps. It's just like any other marketing. You need to be hit 4 or 5 times. You need to hear strong recommendations. Some people need to wait for reviews or personal recommendations. But yeah, you're totally right. Just like get that like dent in somebody's head so that you can start logging those tally marks and the awareness can snowball.
In branding, generally marketing, companies talk about taking up physical space and mental space. Coca-Cola takes up physical space, right? They're so big that they can just plaster their logo everywhere. You can't go a day without seeing a Coca-Cola logo, right? It's everywhere. Oh, I can so easily get this. Liquid Death takes up mental space. They come up with an idea that's such a mood shifter for you immediately. You can't possibly look away. And now you're thinking about that thing for the next day. You're like, God, that's so funny. Like they did an enema kit with Blink 182 and it was, Liquid Death water. Like that's fucking hilarious because their whole goal is like, oh, we just need to be at the top of the internet and have people talking about it. I didn't buy Liquid Death for a year or two since I had heard about them, but what they did worked where I see it again and again. I hear about it again and again. So my book is selling, but I think that what I did quite well is everyone who's ever heard of me knows that I wrote a book now. And now it's a ground game of continuing to consistently put things out so that the second and third time that they hear about it, then maybe they'll buy it, right? In marketing, like as you say, people don't necessarily buy it the first time they see it. And I can tell you, man, now I'm in a really strange spot as an author because all I want to do is move on to the next book. Like I wanted to be like, cool, I did it. I'm done. It's out. But luckily, I have a marketing background. And it's like, wait, imagine if you were a founder and you took 3 years to come up with your first product. And then you released it into market and you did ads for 1 month. And then you stopped doing ads and just, okay, well, we're going to spend another 3 years working on our next SKU. Like that's actually how most writers are thinking about it. But I'm like, wait a second, that's crazy. I have a product now. Like every time I talk about this, someone now can buy it. Like that's amazing. I should be talking about this for the next year.